Just making a short break to let you know that I'm offering my last masterclass of the year on November the 8th, and it's for free. It's called 5-Step Process to Create a Portfolio-Worthy Lettering Piece that attracts your dream clients, even if you're just starting. This training will be broadcasted live from my studio in Berlin, and during the live session, I will share with you my framework to create a professional-looking lettering piece that will help you attract dream assignments. This training is really important because once you create that first portfolio lettering piece that you're really proud of, everything changes. You build self-confidence, your peers start recognizing your work, and your dream clients start noticing you. Go to martinaflor.com/masterclass to join for free. I hope to see you there. Now, back to the show. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Open Studio. I'm your host, Martina Flor, and in this solo episode, we will get hands-on and work towards achieving our end-of-the-year goals. Goals require work and decision-making, and this is the reason why we keep on pushing them forward. In this show, I will share 3 steps that have helped me in the past achieve a goal that changed my life and career forever. Enjoy. Hello, and welcome to another solo episode with me. In these bite-sized episodes, as you may know already, we touch on different strategies and tactics to improve your skills and upgrade your creative business. So in this episode, we are going to continue speaking about the end of the year and how we all start wondering, hey, where did time go? And I have still so many things to accomplish and so many things that I wanted to get done this year. And we look at our bucket list, and there's still some important goals sitting there untouched, right? And, in my previous solo episode, I was saying that we all feel this anxiety of the end of the year. And I think that the end of the year is a great opportunity to use that as a deadline and use that as a very tangible deadline that we can use to accomplish certain goals that are very important to us. And in previous episodes, I was also setting up the ground to question some of the goals that we have set for ourselves, because as we start our year, we start with all this energy and we start with all this world of possibilities that are ahead of us. So we create a huge bucket list of goals that we want to accomplish, and these bucket lists are really unrealistic. So in the previous episode, I'm going to add it to the show notes so that you can go check it out. I was just posing some questions in order to make you think about what are the things that what are the goals that you have set that are perhaps not so important or don't really move the needle of your business. What are the priorities? What are the things that are really important to you, so that you can start establishing more realistic goals in terms of, okay, what is the thing that really matters to me, right? Now, also in the previous episode, I was speaking, and this is just as refreshing a little bit of that content or the things we discussed in that episode. I was saying that naturally, most of us, if we have a bucket list of different goals, we will start by the easiest one, right? And we will just tackle the easiest one, as the same way that when you when you sit down to work every day, you will probably go ahead and tackle the easiest things, right? Because it's you feel that it's a 2-minute thing, or it will take you 5 minutes and then it will be out of your sight, right? The thing is that as we do this, we keep pushing the most important things for tomorrow, right? We deplete ourselves from all our energy by tackling the things that are easier and that are not so important normally, and we push the things that are really important for later. And it happened to me personally in something very important in my life, and I want to tell you a little bit of this story. If you have been listening to this podcast for a while, you might have heard this story. But I'm a graphic designer, and I worked for many years. I started to work pretty early in my life as a graphic designer. I think my first job, I was 19. I was 19 when I got my first job as a graphic designer. So as I was in my middle 20s, late 20s, I had turned into a creative director in an agency. I had climbed the ladder of graphic design, and I got a pretty good position in an agency. And I was miserable working at this. I really didn't like it. I remember that I would come back home after a full day of work, and I would just sit down to draw, and that's all I wanted to do. My dream was that at some point in my life I would just draw for a living. And I saw it also as a dream. I never saw it as something that could happen to me. I want to become a lettering artist and be known for just doing that great work and kind of be remembered because of that. But the answer was always the same. No, now is not a good time. I will do that later when I have time, which never happens because I was just working full time, super busy as a creative director. I was saying, yeah, I would do it later when I have money, when I have enough savings, right? And I would just still continue spending my money in nonsense things like the last piece of clothing or the last piece of technology. So I had always an excuse to just push that goal farther, right? And it wasn't until I hit rock bottom that I felt that I was in a very bad place in my life, that I decided that it was for me time to use my precious time and invest it in something that really mattered to me. So this is where I decided to quit my job at that time and invest all of my savings into going abroad. I moved to the Netherlands to join a type design program, and I joined a master course in type design. And this was, this one event really changed my career and my life path forever, right? So after that, I moved to Berlin, and I decided to start or to launch my career as a lettering artist. And the rest is history. Nowadays I have been running my lettering studio for over 12 years now, and I also have an academy where I nurture other hand lettering artists and I help them with their skills and their businesses. So really, that one decision, or deciding not to push that goal of mine forward, was really a tipping point in my life. And when I look back at what I did at that time to make that decision, of course that in the moment that I was making this decision, it wasn't such a conscious decision. I think that you can always join the dots as you look back and not as you look forward. And this is why I want to give you these tools. I want to tell you this story because I think that my experience can really help you achieve your goals and really save that time, right? So when I look back to the process that I followed to really stop procrastinating, stop pushing my very important life goals and career goals forward, I think I can sum it up in 3 simple actions that you could implement yourself as well. And in this context of speaking about goals and how the end of the year is a great deadline or a very tangible deadline to achieve our goals, then I want to share these steps with you. So the step number 1 is put this as a priority. If this is important to you, is the thing you should prioritize. So stop looking to the sides and getting distracted with the things that don't really matter, and focus on figuring out this very meaningful thing to you, right? And when I say put this as a priority, there's a few things that you can do to put this as a priority. First is identifying that this is a priority, because you probably have a lot of things, a lot of goals that you want to accomplish. So look at that list and think of what are the really important things that really move the needle of my life, my business, my career. What is the really important thing that I want to accomplish here? And the other thing that you can do to establish this as a priority is that you put this first in your life. So for instance, something very tangible that you can do is to make it the first thing that you work on every day. So for instance, an example that I can give you in my personal life is that I recently, and I mentioned this in previous episodes, I recently took 2 months and I relocated to Barcelona for work. I went there with my family and I wanted to, I moved cities just to focus on a project that I wanted to work on, which is my new book. And what I did, not only I changed environment, which already created a change in the way I conducted my days and I structured my days, but I also created a calendar for myself. So I really sat down and established new timings for everything I was doing. So in the morning, of course, I was taking my kids to summer camp. And then later when I was coming back to work, I would just dedicate the first 3 hours of my day to write that book, to work on that project that I wanted to tackle or that I really wanted to work on during my stay in Barcelona. And I wasn't reading emails or checking social media before that. The first thing that I would do, I would sit down, I will open my Google Doc and I would just continue writing, right? And until I didn't have that done or I didn't complete those 3 hours of writing, I wouldn't start, checking emails. I wouldn't connect to a Slack or to, to check on my team. I would just first focus on that thing and then move on to the rest of the things I wanted to tackle for that day. And you can do the same. You can really put this as the first thing that you do in the morning, and that already will create a shift in your attitude. When you put something first, it already shifts your mindset towards that thing. When you start putting the thing very, front and center in your life, things start to move around, right? So put this as a priority, right? The step number 2 you can do is to eliminate clutter from your agenda and block time. Now, look at your daily calendar and think, what is it that you do every day, right? And whenever someone, whenever a student or a member of my coaching programs tells me like, well, I don't have time to do client outreach, or I don't have time to, to do this or that, or I don't have time to practice, right? I ask them, okay, where is your time going? Like, where are you investing time? And oftentimes, we notice that, perhaps you're reading, you spend, 3 hours or 4 hours a day reading and replying emails, right? And I remember that one of our guests from previous episodes called Liron Lavi, one of our guests who actually spoke about productivity for creatives. And I remember that she said something that stayed with me forever and really made me think about how much time I dedicate every day to read emails and to reply to other people's messages that come through social media or through WhatsApp. And she said, no one will honor you for replying all of your emails within 24 hours, right? I thought it was so funny and so true that no one will think that you're a better person because you reply to all of your emails and you do it right away, right? And I have to say, since I had that conversation with her, I actually only read emails once a day for a maximum of 1 hour. And reading emails is not the first thing that I do in the day. Sometimes I do it by midday, so after I tackle the first, the very important things that I want to tackle that day. And I'm going to speak about more in detail about this in future solo episodes, because I want to give you this tactics that really help me improve my productivity and work less, which is great. But yes, this conversation that I had with Liron really made me think about how much time goes into that. So whenever someone tells me, hey, I don't have time, I ask them, okay, where is your time going? Analyze first where your time is allocated. Are you spending 3 hours of your day reading and replying to emails and messages, right? The other big question is social media. Tell me how much screen time do you have? How much time do you spend in social media? How much time of your precious day goes into just scrolling down someone else's feed? Or tell me just how much time do you spend just looking at your phone, checking on Twitter and all of that, right? So the bottom line is here, time is the only thing we have. Time is a resource we all have. The question is, where are you investing your time? Where is your time allocated? Because I'm sure that the precious time that you have right now is going into things that perhaps you don't notice that are taking that time, that precious time from you, right? So get rid of the things that are stealing your time. First, identify what are the things that are stealing your time, right? And get rid of the things that are stealing that precious time, and instead allocate time to work on the things that really matter to you. The things that, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, the things that help you improve your skills and do work that you're really proud of, or the things that bring you closer to the projects and the clients that you want to work with or you ever dreamed of, or the things that really keep you working on your genius zone the majority of the time on earth, which is great. Imagine if you could use that time to work on things that you're really good at and that really make you happy. So, time is such a valuable resource and we need to start using it more intentionally. And I hope that this one question that I'm posing here makes you think about where is your time going, and also keeps you away of keep on putting this as an excuse. Oh, I don't have time to do that, right? Okay, but then where is your time going? Where are you investing your time, right? So that was the step number 2. I said, step number 1, put this as a priority. Step number 2, eliminate clutter from your agenda and block time. And step number 3 is commit. Make the commitment going forward and do your best. Go out and look for accountability. And I have to say that, going back to the story that I said before, I made the commitment of becoming a lettering artist. It wasn't a thing that happened right away. The acquiring a skill and mastering a skill is a long game. And I made a commitment of going for it and really becoming a lettering artist. It's not a thing that, it's not an overnight success. It's not a love at first sight. It's you may have discovered that you have a skill, or you may have found a skill where you feel that you keep on coming back to. You felt that spark, that there's something for you in this specific craft, right? Now, once you discover that, you need to commit and just go for it and dedicate time and really nurture that skill in order to turn it into something, right? Now, I always say that something very important in this process is to go out and look for accountability, right? And when I look back at my own story, this story informed the way I conduct my academy nowadays and my programs nowadays. We use this system that I call the 3 C's. So we use the 3 C's stand for C for content, right? So you need to consume the right content, a content that is appropriate for the thing that you want to expand or the goal you want to achieve. The other C stands for community. So you need a community of people that are on the same journey and really support you and keep you accountable. And the third C stands for coaching, for someone that really guides you throughout the process, right? So when I say commit, it's not only committing to this, to accomplishing that goal, but also looking for a container that gives you these elements in order for you to achieve that goal, in order for you to improve those skills, in order for you to really finally start your solo business, in order for you to pivot careers, in order for you to really go for it and accomplish this goal. So summing up a little bit what we've been discussing in this episode, and this is all just as a reminder, this is all in the frame of the end of the year and how many of us feel that we haven't accomplished all of the goals that we had, or you may be feeling that you had things on your bucket list that are not finished yet, or that you wanted to accomplish and you feel that there's not enough time. I feel that the end of the year is a great deadline for you to use. It's a very tangible deadline, and I was sharing with you in this episode a few steps, 3 simple steps that really worked for me at the time I made the big decision of becoming a lettering artist, or going for it and becoming a lettering artist, right? That was over 10 years ago. And I can say that it had a happy unfolding, right? And the 3 steps, just to sum up what we've been discussing in this episode, the 3 steps were, number 1, put this as a priority. Put your most essential goals, or the most important goal, as a priority. And for this, dedicate time to it. Put it first in your day. This should be the first thing that you do every day. Number 2, eliminate clutter from your agenda and block time. So organize your day in a way that is functional to your goals, right? And number 3, commit. Make the commitment of making this happen, right? Commit and just go for it, right? It won't happen overnight, but it won't happen. It will surely not happen if you don't commit. You need to commit to it and, put the work in order to make it happen. So I hope this episode has provided you with some tactics that you can use to achieve the most important goal that you have right now on your bucket list and that you want to get done before the end of the year. So thank you so much for listening. In the next episodes, I'm gonna be sharing more about this with you. So stick around. Thank you so much for listening, and see you on the next episode of Open Studio. Bye-bye. So this is it. I hope you loved this episode. You can find me, the host of the show, on social networks at Martina Flor on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you have a question or comments, go to martinaflor.com/podcast, where you can see previous episodes, find show notes, and send voice memos with your comments and questions. You can also watch these episodes on YouTube. Just go to martinaflor.com/YouTube to find them. You can, of course, listen to all our episodes on your favorite podcast platform. If you loved this episode, subscribe to this podcast. And if you leave us a review, it will help others find us. Thank you all for listening, and see you in the next episode of Martina Flor's Open Studio. Bye-bye.